Welcome everyone to the Inland Sports Show. Before we start the show, make sure you like this video and you've subscribed to the Inland Sports Show YouTube channel. And if you're a local business or organization and you'd like to promote yourself on this show, just send us an email, inlandsportsshow@gmail.com. The show starts right now. Garcia's left footage. We are doing it live. Welcome to the Inland Sports Show here on Wednesday night, a semifinal edition of the show. We're live and amplified at Teen Vision TV 16. Johnny Nunez behind the scenes here directing the program, and we've got a big show for you guys tonight. A lot of high school football coming your way. In just a moment, we're going to hear from Oscar McBride, the head coach at Murrieta Mesa. We're also going to check in with Citos Marinez, the head coach at Jurupa Hills. Got a big interview with him. Who else? Mike Tuohy from Vista del Lago. He's also checking in. Jarron Gilbert at Riverside Poly. So a lot of semifinal football coming your way. It was National Signing Day this past week. A lot of baseball and softball players signing this past week. And we're going to have Cambria Salmon, the star pitcher for the Beaumont Cougars, just signed with the Texas Longhorns. So Cambria will also be on the show. So this is going to be a big, big show. A lot of high school football, and we're going to lead things off as we go live down to Murrieta Mesa High School with the head coach of the Rams. Some might say the best Rams team in Southern California if you're an NFL fan. I'm a 49er fan, Coach, so I had to take a quick dig in there. But, Coach McBride, listen, congrats on the season so far. I know you guys still want to play a couple more games before this is all said and done. But when you look at the whole season, man, obviously the tough non-league portion of your schedule, I don't know if you want to call it battle-tested or gaining experience or learning things about yourselves, but do you feel like going through that tough non-league and starting 0-5, maybe you're better for it now in the playoffs?
I completely agree with that, Pep. This is just my second year here, and we're in the process of still building and changing the culture. So what we needed more than anything was mental toughness and grit. And what better way to build that than to play outside of, your division with some championship caliber programs. I mean, how it all shook out for us. We ended up playing 3 Division II teams and 2 Division III teams in the preseason, and actually had an opportunity to beat 2 of those Division II teams, but just we weren't quite ready. We didn't have the mentality or the toughness, and I think that's been really beneficial for us down the stretch.
Well, Coach, there were 2 programs, 2 teams all season long that I kept championing for, saying, listen, these teams are a lot better than what their records indicated. That was Murrieta Mesa and also Jurupa Hills, and we're going to have the Jurupa Hills coach on in our next segment. But I knew you guys were going to be a lot better. It's just, hey, survive the Big West and make the playoffs. And once you get into the playoffs, like anything can happen. Here you guys are in the semifinals. Do you feel like you guys are playing your best football of the season right now?
I think we're peaking. Defensively, we're playing really, really well. And offense is starting to click. Offense always comes later. We know that. But our defense has been carrying us the whole year. And down the stretch, they've been phenomenal. And you have players, like CJ Moran and Afani Onye, Chico Orji on the back end. Isaiah Casillas has just been an animal inside for us, and Lance Vite on the outside. We had a little bit of bad luck. We lost Luke Vandenberg against TV in a league contest, but we've got a freshman linebacker in Chris Flores that's been lights out for us. we've been really blessed with how the guys are playing and coming together and playing as a team. So we just want to ride the momentum, man. We're in a good spot. We're peaking at the right time, I believe. We're playing with a lot of confidence, and we're just going to go out and play our best football. That's the whole idea. We play for another 48. We tell them every week, you have an opportunity to earn another 48 minutes, and that's our mindset. We take it one play, one down, one quarter at a time, and by the time that last second ticks off the clock, we're hoping we're ahead.
Well, Coach, you did some name dropping. I do want to go back to C.J. Moran for a second. This guy's a wrecking ball on defense, but I was just looking at his stats, 11 touchdowns, running the football as well. I mean, this time of the year, obviously guys are tired. They might be a little beat up, but the guy's a senior. He's playing Ironman football on both sides. Sure. I mean, what has he meant to the program in this season?
CJ has transformed our offense into what it can be. He's averaging 8.6 yards per carry, and he is the guy that gives us confidence. We know that he's going to protect the football. We know he's going to run hard. We know he's going to fall forward. He's a great change of pace, and we have Roe Randolph, our freshman that came in and has been playing really, really well. But when you have that experience in CJ, there's just a confidence that if there's a crease, he's going to find it. He's going to hit it. He's going to make it happen for us. So we're really proud of him. He also punts for us as well. He flips the field, which is great. But as you said, he's just an animal on defense. He's playing like a man among boys right now. So we're super excited that he's on our side.
Well, Coach, call me Captain Obvious here, but it's raining outside right now, and I think there's more rain coming in the forecast on Friday. Are you partial in either way? Like, do you embrace the rain? Do you not care? Hey, we'll run the football even more if it's raining? I mean, do you even care what the weather's like on Friday?
I had the distinct honor of playing for Lou Holtz in college, and one of the things he's quoted as saying is it rains on both sides of the football. So from my perspective, if they're going to play in the rain, we're playing in the rain, and we're going to just do our jobs. The whole idea, you go out, you do your job. You protect the football, you play hard, you play fast, you play physical, and you just do your job. So would I rather not play in the rain? Absolutely. But if the rain comes, the good news is it won't rain just on our side of the ball. So we're okay with it.
It's funny you bring that up because, I remember as, a teenager playing in, cold temperatures or rain didn't bother me. But once you're, grown up and you're standing on the sidelines and just watching, it's a different ball game. If you're not running around, it's a totally different ball game.
100%. And you know what? The kids love it. I mean, they're still out there. They're playing. They're having fun. For them, it's still football, right? It's still throwing, catching, blocking, tackling. And like I said, we'll go out and we'll play whatever game we need to play to secure the victory. That's the whole idea. At this point, it's win or go home. Our team understands that, and they're super excited to compete.
Coach, let's go back to your schedule this season. You start 0-5 before you get to a very tough, Big West Conference. Was it difficult to kind of keep the guys motivated, dialed in, encouraged to, hey, guys, we still have a lot to play for this season. We can still win a league title. We could still make the playoffs. There was still a lot on your plate, after non-league play. So how were you able to do that?
The big thing was just keeping the main thing, and keep moving forward, keep improving. We knew it was going to be tough, and to their credit, they embraced that. We don't really worry about what the other team's doing. We worry about ourselves. For us, it's about, what happens at Mesa. And as I said, we had an opportunity to win a couple of those games, which, I thought, coming in, okay, we have a tough non-league schedule. We may be able to steal a couple, which we had 2 of them right there in the grasp and let them slip away. But for me, it was truly about, we're the best 0-5 team in the state. And we truly believe that. And you look at the film, a bounce here, a drop pass here, a missed block there, a missed tackle there. It's not 0-5. It's, maybe it's 2-3 or 3-2. And we knew that. And to their credit, again, that whole part of building the grit, building the toughness, building that staying power, is a big part of our success down the stretch. And it wasn't as difficult as some would imagine to keep these guys motivated. They had something to prove. We still have something to prove. It's been a long time coming for Mesa. So there was never a point where they hung their heads and retreated. So we're super excited about that as a staff, and to be able to be in this situation now after playing a really good, well-coached, disciplined, extremely athletic La Habra team, and to be sitting here in the semis is just a testament to their grit. I'm super proud of them for that.
You know, Coach, I guess it's kind of like looking in the mirror when you play Miracosta, this coming week, because they had a similar situation where, it's kind of a tough start to the season, but they were able to turn things around just in time to make the playoffs. And obviously they're good. I mean, they beat Yucaipa in the playoffs. I saw Yucaipa play this year, and that they were a good team. As you go into this semifinal against Miracosta, I'm assuming Miracosta is probably, like you guys, a lot better than what their record indicates.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that was the message to the team. If you look at the Final Four, I think us and Huntington Beach have the best record at 6-6. So all of the teams that are remaining in the semifinals have had that journey. Figured out who you are, who you want to be, playing a tougher non-league schedule to put you in the best situation to make the playoffs and make a run. So our guys are aware of that. We have tremendous respect for Coach Moore and his program. He's been there 31 years, has done a phenomenal job since day one. So we're aware that they're a good football team, and we're not in a position where we can take anyone lightly. We're going to go out and we're going to play with our hair on fire and try to see, what we can do. They're a good football team.
And Coach, finally, I did want to ask you about your defense as well. I'm going back the last 5, 6, 7 games. I mean, you guys are barely giving up more than 2 touchdowns per game. You beat La Habra 28-14, Laguna Hills 45-14, King 31-14, Corona 49-zip. You held Great Oak to 14. I mean, this defense, like you said, the defense always seems to be ahead of the curve compared to the offense. But, I mean, do you feel like when you kind of describe the way you guys play football, is it defense and you're going to pound the football as well? How would you describe the Rams?
Well, I would say that the Rams are an aggressive defense. Pursuit. We run well. We are getting minimum of 8 hats to the football. That's a mandatory thing for us. The more hats, the more population we get to the football, we feel like something can happen positively for us. And again, it doesn't hurt when you have guys inside like Isaiah Casillas, Cody Moore, who's a super soft, playing great football for us right now. Then on the edges, you have guys like Lance Vite and Afani Onye, who's one of the best pass rushers at 13.5 sacks this year, being all-league honoree. When you have those guys and you have CJ Moran playing behind them, we're in a good spot. And we go as they go. Offense, feeds off the defense. Defense feeds off the offense. And special teams is in there doing its part with field position and protecting the football. So we're doing some good things, and we're trying to do things the right way. For us, it's just about staying consistent, playing physical, playing fast, minimizing those mental mistakes, and I think we'll be fine.
Well, Coach, listen, I really appreciate the time. Obviously, it's semifinal week, so you probably have 1,000,001 things going on. But thank you for taking out a couple minutes of your busy day to spend it here on the Inland Sports Show with us. Best of luck Friday night for the Rams.
Thanks a lot, Pep. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it, man.
Yes, sir. That's Murrieta Mesa head football coach Oscar McBride here on the Inland Sports Show. Thank you so much, Coach. When we come back, we're going to check in with Jurupa Hills. Head coach Citos Marinez is next. We still got Coach Tuohy from Vista del Lago and Jarron Gilbert from Riverside Poly a little bit later. We'll be right back on your favorite show, the Inland Sports Show.
And this segment of the Inland Sports Show is brought to you by Kin Sporting Goods in Norco, #1 in the Inland Empire for team uniforms, sports equipment, and Letterman's jackets. Boost Performance Training in Corona. Athletes of all levels and all sports train at Boost. And also ask about the Bass Private School. Paulson Orthodontics in Redlands. Personalized treatment you deserve from an orthodontist you can trust. Chick-fil-A in Rialto, right off the 210 freeway at Ayala Drive. Eat more chicken.
Girls, here are 5 lies society tells you about strength training. Number 1, you're going to get buff. That's lies. It's genetically impossible. Number 2, muscles are masculine. Wrong. Muscles are empowering. Number 3, you're going to gain weight. That's false. Lean muscle burns body fat. Number 4, muscles make you bulky. Not at all. For girls, you can expect more muscle tone and definition. Number 5, you don't need to strength train. The biggest lie of all. Strength training helps you build confidence, makes you more healthy, and improves your athletic performance. If you want to know more about the benefits of strength training for girls, check out this month's blog at www.boosttrainingsystems.com. Boost Man.
Sports Show is proud to partner with Dr. Marcus Paulson and Paulson Orthodontics in Redlands. Dr. Paulson and his team work with children, teens, and adults using orthodontic products like traditional braces and Invisalign to make a difference in the appearance, comfort, and function of each patient's teeth. Paulson Orthodontics welcomes new patients, so schedule a visit today. Paulson Orthodontics. We make braces fun.
And welcome back to the Inland Sports Show. A big thanks, obviously, to Oscar McBride from Murrieta Mesa. The Rams going into the Division VI semifinals this upcoming week. We've got a lot more football to get to. Next up, Jurupa Hills head coach Citos Marinez. Like all these head coaches during semifinal week, they are very, very busy. A lot of things going on behind the scenes. Coach Marinez, told me, he's like, I can do the interview on Tuesday night. Can we do Tuesday night? I said, sure. And he's like, well, it might be kind of late. And I was like, Coach, I will stay up all night long to get the exclusive on Jurupa Hills. So that's exactly what we did. It was a very late night interview last night so we could get Coach Marinez on the show. Jurupa Hills playing in the Division VIII semifinals. A big 1-point win against Alyssa Nagel in the quarterfinals. And now they're back home taking on St. Pius in the semis. Here's Jurupa Hills head coach Citos Marinez.
Inland Sports. Join us here on the Inland Sports Show. We are going to all hours of the night, really, to catch up with Coach Citos Marinez and Jurupa Hills. Coach, really appreciate the time. Congratulations on reaching the D8 semifinals, but I feel like there's still some work to be done. You guys probably feel the same way. When you look at this season, Coach, I know we're already in the playoffs, but when you go all the way back to your non-league portion, you played some good teams in non-league. What did you learn about your team during that tough stretch during non-league that maybe now, 6, 7, 8 weeks later, you're like, okay, it's paying off, man. We were battle tested. We went through some things. Now I feel like we're ready to make this playoff run.
Yeah, man, it's like you read my mind, dude. I wanted to talk to you about this too and kind of get your input on it because, building the schedule now is such a hard thing to do. And you gotta, basically we're all learning on the run here. And, I could tell you now, we played some hard teams and all that. But, Pep, when you're going through it and you're being challenged and, your kids want to feel a win, it's not nothing easy. And, personally for me, that is something that, you work hard, you put a lot of time and effort. And, yeah, you're playing good teams, but ain't nothing like winning, man. And that's why we do what we do. So we see the joy on the kids' faces and the student section and the band and the teachers. It took us a while to achieve that, So, we're just at the point right now that, we're trying to make all of those battles worth it now in our third season, as we call it. What I have to commend the kids on is it takes a special kid to stay together and for them to have the mindset to go through those losses. I mean, we try to create the narrative for them, and it was all about, us getting to this part of the season. At Jurupa Hills, we've done the league championship multiple times. And, we have one more thing that we need to accomplish. And fortunately, the CIF gave us a chance with the at-large bid. And, I mean, you see the tough conference and league that we play in. I mean, Kaiser's still in it, and Kaiser's in the middle league. I mean, they won't be next year, but Kaiser's in the middle league, and they beat our league champ. Yeah. They beat Eisenhower. So, I mean, our league is a really good league. They're competitive. I think Grand Terrace is a good football team. And, they didn't get a chance to get in the playoffs like we did. But, I mean, last year they made their run. So, it's just something that I'm learning about. But, I'm sure you see it too, Pat. What I could tell you is St. Matthias started 0-4. They're 1-5 like us. I live in Covina. I know Charter Oak started 2-8. They're on the other side of our bracket. And I'm hearing that Highland had like Mission Viejo on the schedule or something like that out in Palmdale. So, you got to play tough teams, I guess, in this era, and hope that CIF gets you a chance if you don't qualify in your league. And, like I said, I got to give credit to Eisenhower and Summit. They beat us. We're the third place team in our league. But they definitely showed us some things about ourselves that's allowing us to be successful right now.
Coach, real quick, I'll say this. Through the first 5-6 weeks of the season, going through from week 0 all the way through non-league, going into league play, there was 2 teams I felt the whole time. I was like, man, these teams are way better than what their records are indicating right now. And actually, the other coach is going to be on this show too, Oscar McBride at Murrieta Mesa. I'm like, man, Murrieta Mesa and Jurupa Hills, 2 teams. Don't sleep on them. You're going to look at their record and be like, oh, they're down this year. I was like, don't sleep on these guys. I felt that way the whole season. And you're right. I think you guys are battle tested. Now you're in the playoffs. You're stringing together a couple of wins. Real quick about that Alyssa Nogel game. I was there for the first half, kind of motoring through the first half, like not, super explosive. I know Gio Medina had that crazy touchdown catch. I think it might have been on the opening drive of the game. But like, what did you guys do at halftime to kind of adjust and kind of get things going in the second half and just in the nick of time too to come back and beat those guys?
Yeah, you know what? If I just bring back the schedule real quick, Pep, when you play those games and, you're playing San Jacinto, you're playing Etiwanda, you're playing Downey, what we said is like, regardless of what the score was, we had to get used to playing 4 quarters. And I think that we did a good job of that, of continuing to battle even in those games. And in Downey, we had a chance to win it. And Etiwanda, I mean, to be honest, they blew us out, but we scored our only touchdown in the 4th quarter. And then in San Jac, we got to a point where we got an onside, we could score an onside kick and score again to try and win that game. And so, again, those battles, we had talked about that. They had only played one possession game, and they hadn't played one of those in a while, the Alyssa Nogels. So we felt comfortable with the game being close, and our defense did a really good job of getting that field goal block right before half, which was a huge play. And then we got the ball because, they got the ball first to start the game. So we got the ball after half. And we knew how important that drive was. And we went down and scored. And, they give them credit. They battled back. They got up 10. And we're down 10 in the 4th quarter. But, our guys responded, man. And our defense got big stops. Our playmakers made plays. And we leaned on the closer at the end, and that's our quarterback. We call him the closer. Put the ball in his hands, and he takes us home. So, like I said, the mindset that our kids have, and a lot of that is based upon them going through some tough games together and learning it and being exposed by really good football teams and really good coaches. So it wasn't nothing crazy. I mean, Alyssa Nogel was right there. Pat, they're a good football team. You talk about that league, the number 1 seed in Division III, the Citrus Valley guys had to play them, and that's San Juan Hills, and they came in 2nd place in that league. Jabuka Hills. It's like, dang, like at this point, everybody's good. Everybody's battle tested. So, it's going to be these kind of games, and we just lean into the fact that it's going to be a close game.
It's funny you bring up that blocked field goal right before halftime, because in hindsight, obviously that was a huge play because it was a 1-point game. Looking back, that was a huge play for you guys. I did want to bring up your quarterback, Caleb Ruiz. You brought him up as well because on our Friday night pep rally on Riverside TV, we were talking to John Rice. And at the time, he was an assistant with San Jacinto earlier this season when they played you guys. And he's like, if there was one kid that we played all season long, like this guy just was passionate. He went hard. Like this guy was the ultimate competitor. He brought up Caleb Ruiz, man. He was really impressed by him. What has he meant to your team this year?
He's meant a lot to our program, Pep. I watched that show too. I like that show, man. You're doing a good job with your after show. And I actually shared that with Caleb's mom, and his dad lives in Texas, and I had them send that over. It was really cool to hear Coach Rice say that. And to give Coach Rice credit, he told us that before the game. He told me that before the game that we played way back when, and he was just complimenting Caleb on that. And of course, like Caleb backed it up on the field, even with, the great football players that they have at San Jack. Caleb represents our toughness. One thing I could tell you, Pep, is he's one of our strongest kids in the weight room. Like, he lifts like a lineman lifts, and he loves to lift. And that part, it just brings a different toughness to our football team and our football program. And going into the Irvine game, Pep, I hadn't had a multiple year starter at Jurupa Hills since my first one way back in 16, 17, 18, when we had Zane Scarborough. After that, it's been, one and dones. It's been, my cousin was a quarterback in 2019. Last time we went to the semis. Then we had Patrick Reagan, who was really good, but that was the COVID season. He went undefeated. Then we had a combination of Marquise Roby and Andre Freeman. And then Caleb took over after that. And so he played his junior year last year. Honestly, Pep, we played against Aquinas last year, and me and him had a rough go of it. And Aquinas made us pay and exposed us. And so when we got to the Irvine game a couple of weeks ago, I was like, Caleb, it's our third season together now. We've played 20 games together, and this is game 21. And now it's game 22. And now it's at the point, Pep, where he knows what we're thinking as coaches, and we fully trust him. And like I said, he has the keys to the car, and he's done a good job of it. And, his teammates respect his work ethic and the way he plays. Given that schedule, he's played in every game, man. He hasn't came out. He's tough as nails. So it takes guys like that to win in this type of division and, in these kind of playoff games.
Coach, I think it was about 10 years ago when Jurupa Hills won a CIF Southern Section championship. But since you've been the head coach, you've gone to the semis once. I don't have your stats in front of me, but was it once you said?
Yeah, one time. Yeah, 2019, we played El Monte in the semis.
So what would it mean personally as the head coach to, reach a championship game? I would assume when you go into the coaching profession, especially when you take over a program as the head coach, that's the goal, right? To get a team to a CIF title game and to win it and bring home a championship.
Yeah, I've been doing this for a long time, Pep, and I know how hard it is to get it. And some guys make it look easy, man. I was talking to Coach Zelaya, the old Kaiser coach. He was just texting me congratulations, and I was just like, man, you used to get here like it was normal, And, there's people that do that, and, man, those are the guys that I look up to, but for me as a coach, it's not something that's happened a lot. And so I know how special it is. I'm trying to communicate to the guys how special that is. And, you just want it for the guys, man. It's so hard to win playoff games and to get to this point. Like you said, we've been to the semis one time. We had to go on to the road and play El Monte. This time we get to play at home. So this is the first time we get to experience a semi-final game in our era. But and you always got to respect that 2013 team because they set the bar up high, and they have their championship, and we aspire to be like them, and to continue that tradition that Jurupa Hills has, and overall the city of Fontana, man, that's pretty cool. Like CAF championships are won in the city, and that's what kind of pulled me over to Jurupa Hills. It wasn't hard for back then. Kristen Braun was my AD. It wasn't hard to convince me. I was like, "Ooh, football, Fontana? Yeah, let's do this. Let's go over there and let's go get in part of that action." So, but man, last week, Pep, I mean, you were there, and it got crazier after you left. Our student section was rocking, our band was rocking, the parents. And when you turn around after a win and you see that stands and you're like, oh, yeah, and see the guys' faces and the coaches' faces that have sacrificed a lot to be there. I mean, that's, where the gas comes from and the motivation comes from, not only for this year, but going forward in the career.
All right, Coach, last question. Finally, I don't know much about St. Pius. I know they're good, but I don't know much about St. Pius. What do you guys have to do well on Friday night to come away with a win and punch your ticket to the finals?
Yeah, I mean, they're a really good football team. They're really talented. They've played in high divisions in the past.
Yeah.
Number one, we got to take care of the football, and we can't beat ourselves. If we beat ourselves, these guys are going to run away with it. And that's my, thing that I think kept us in it in the Lisa Nagel game is, we didn't shoot ourselves in the foot. We didn't turn the ball over. We got to the red zone 2 times. We got touchdowns on both and extra point conversions. And that was the difference in the game. They got there 4 times and got 13 points, and we got there 2 times and got 14 points. And there's your 1-point game. And so, we got to be good in that area again. And, we got to tackle them, man. They got great athletes. They got really good athletes. But again, we've seen the Sanjak kids, we've seen the Etiwanda kids, we've seen the Downey kids, we've seen the I kids, and that's going to put us in a position to be like, okay, we kind of know what this is like, and hopefully learn from those mistakes. And up front, they're physical like Kaiser and Summit is. So, again, all of this experience is what we're leaning on to put us in position to be successful on Friday.
Well, it's Jurupa Hills against St. Pius, CIF Southern Section Division 8 semifinals. Coach Marinez, always appreciate the time. I'll let you go. Maybe you're going to go take a dip in the pool. I don't know what you're doing after this, maybe a late night dinner, but I appreciate the time.
Thanks, Pep. I appreciate you too.
All right, that's Citos Marinez here on the Inland Sports Show.
Inland Sports.
Yeah, I can't thank Coach enough. He was a busy guy. He was actually working at a Jurupa Hills basketball game on Tuesday night, got home very late, and still did the interview. So, Coach, I really do appreciate it. All right now let's take a look at our quarterfinal, our Week 12 Inland Sports All-Stars, and we've got a Jurupa Hills player on the list as well. Fabian Bolanos leading the way for the Spartans on both sides of the football. 121 rushing and a touchdown, had 7 tackles, deflected a couple passes as well for Jurupa Hills against that Alyssa Nagel Wolverine squad. Orange Vista's Khalil Abdul Aziz, QB for the Coyotes, over 200 passing and 5 touchdowns in that quarterfinal win against San Jacinto. King quarterback Josh Harper also over 200, also with 5 touchdowns in that win for King. Now they're going to play on the road at El Dorado in Division 7, the semifinals. Asa Chapman, running back for Murrieta Valley. That was a wild double overtime win at Rancho Cucamonga. And in that game, Chapman ran for a touchdown. He passed for a touchdown. He also caught a touchdown for the Nighthawks in that double overtime thriller against the Coug. Centennial running back Cornell Hatcher back on this list for a second time this season. He had 187 and 5 touchdowns in that win against Orange Lutheran in the Division I quarterfinals. And that was a great win for Centennial to set up this great game against St. John Bosco coming up. And we also had Jurupa Hills QB Caleb Ruiz through the air, on the ground, helping them get to the semifinal. So Fabian Bolanos from Vista del Lago, I should say, correct myself there, and Caleb Ruiz, the quarterback from Jurupa Hills. All right, time now. Well, speaking of, the big boost play of the week, we're going back out to Jurupa Hills, and this was kind of a wild play. In fact, when it happened, I was there for the first half. I didn't even exactly know what was going on. Take a look. Jurupa Hills with the football early on. This is, in fact, their 4th down. First offensive drive of the game. The pass from Ruiz is deflected, but Gio Medina is able to make the catch and take it in for the touchdown. The defenders, the secondary, they didn't know what was going on either. We're going to slow it down and zoom in a little bit. We got a couple different angles because, look, it's going to bounces, it ricochets into the hands of Medina, and he gone into the house. Obviously, that was a big play because at the end of the day, Jurupa Hills won by 28-27 against the Wolverines from Alyssa Nagel to punch their ticket to the Division 8 semifinals. So congrats to Gio, Medina, and the Spartans for moving on and giving us our big boost play of the week. Congratulations to Jay Hills. All right, when we come back here, more high school football. Yes, we're going to hear from head coach Mike Tuohy from Vista del Lago. That is coming up. We also have an interview with Cambria Salmon, the star softball pitcher for Beaumont High School who just signed with the Texas Longhorns. That's next here on the Inland Sports Show.
Hey guys, this is Jason at Ken Sporting Goods. We're almost to 1,000 Instagram followers. Tell your friends, like us, come down and see us. Thank you so much for your loyalty.
We're back here at the Boost Performance Center with the one and only Coach Ray Bass with another gridiron question. And Coach, we've been doing this series on parents, not on purpose, but maybe stunting or preventing the athletic growth of their son or daughter. There's a whole list, but here's another one. So what's next on the list?
So it's definitely too much expectation for other people to help their kids. You know, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of good coaches out there that can assist in your child's athletic development. But the reality is that they're the ones that have to go to class every day. They have to put in the work at practice. They have to excel on the field. So it kills me when I see parents who don't empower their kids with the tenacity to do more. You know, not to say that there's not good coaches that are out there that can assist, but the reality is as parents, we need to provide our student athletes with the tools they need to be successful, like, you know, being accountable, self-discipline, and applying consistent and correct effort. You know, that way they can forge their own path to success.
Yeah, sometimes you got to put it on them, right? Let them have some ownership over their success. Okay, so again, we'll be back with another gridiron question on this theme. As parents, what are we doing to maybe prevent that growth? We want them to grow and achieve and get better. So we're going to give you the best tips from this guy right here, the one and only Coach Ray Bass, right here at the Boost Performance Center. And this segment of the Inland Sports Show is brought to you by Ken Sporting Goods in Norco, #1 in the Inland Empire for team uniforms, sports equipment, and Letterman's jackets. Boost Performance Training in Corona. Athletes of all levels and all sports train at Boost. And also ask about the Bass Private School. Paulson Orthodontics in Redlands. Personalized treatment you deserve from an orthodontist you can trust. Chick-fil-A in Rialto, right off the 210 freeway at Ayala Drive. Eat more chicken.
And welcome back to the Inland Sports Show. We are live and amplified at Teen Vision TV 16. My name is Pep Fernandez. Taking a quick break from high school football. We're going to resume it, and we still have a lot to get to. But right now, it was National Signing Day for a lot of our local baseball and softball stars this past week. Headlining that list, Cambria Salmon, a star pitcher for the Beaumont High School softball team, signing with the University of Texas Longhorns, one of the top programs in the entire country. So before she goes to college, though, still big plans for Beaumont this year, who is now one of the top teams in Division I in the CIF Southern section. We had a chance to talk to Cam about the Beaumont program, but also why she chose the Texas Longhorns. Here's our interview with Cambria Salmon from Beaumont High School.
Inland Sports. And now join us here on the Inland Sports Show, and fresh off of National Signing Day, it's Cambria Salmon, star pitcher for the Beaumont Cougars softball team. And Cam, you signed with the Texas Longhorns, obviously one of the premier programs in the entire country. But what was it about the University of Texas? What did you like about the Longhorns softball program that made you want to sign with them?
Well, I think for me, knowing my coach, Mike White, is one of the best pitching coaches out there. For me, that's good for me as a pitcher because I have someone with very great knowledge and who has been a pitcher themselves to help me out. And also knowing that they have a great program there, and not just that, but their education's great. And I knew I wanted coaches that are similar to the coaches I have now for travel ball, and they are very similar in their coaching styles to a point where I understand what they're saying and where they're coming from, and they're also going to be hard on me. They're not just going to be let me do whatever. So I wanted to make sure that I had coaches like that, and I think I picked good coaches like that, especially at Texas.
All right, so a couple things off what you just said. So first off, education is important to you. So what do you plan to study? Maybe years and years down the road when softball's all said and done, what do you want to do?
I want to be a speech therapist.
Oh, very good. Awesome. Mm-hmm. Okay, and then on the softball side of it, when you were trying to pick your dream school, what was important to you? Was it location? Was it I want to win a college softball national championship? Playing for Coach White, like you mentioned. What was important to you when you were going through this entire recruiting process?
I think the most important thing to me was that I'm going to go somewhere where I know I'm going to be challenged, but I also know that I'm going to have the best chance at winning a national title, but also where I know I'm going to have a place there, and I know I'm going to be able to make an impact myself.
Have they talked about your role maybe coming in as a true freshman? I know it's, still months and months away, but, do they expect you to come in and start, playing right away?
They said there's I could, there's no way, there's no reason I couldn't be able to.
Are you excited about that opportunity? Because obviously you got to Beaumont and you're playing right away. I would assume you're going to expect to do that with the Longhorns as well.
I am excited. I know it's going to be difficult because there's going to be girls that are way older than me that are going to be above me. But I also know me as a person, and I know my competitiveness. So I know that I'm should be able to, and I won't let myself fail.
All right, so now that this, the process is over, you're signed with Texas. Is it a sense of relief? Are you glad the process is over? Because some people are like, "Oh, I love the recruiting process. It feels great to be wanted," and some are like, "It's so stressful. I'm glad it's done. Now I can just focus on my senior my senior year in high school and focus, trying to maybe win a CIF title and those sorts of things." So what's the feeling like now that it's a done deal?
I think it is relieving because the recruiting process, it wasn't that it was bad, but it was just really stressful because sometimes people don't want you to go on your time frame and they want you to be on theirs. So stuff like that was kind of stressful. So now that I'm signed and I don't have to worry about that anymore, it's really relieving because now I get to focus on my travel ball and high school and stuff like that and just finish my senior year.
And what's your family think about it?
They were so excited. They were so happy about it, but they were happy that I got it all over with too.
Yeah, I mean it's a whole stressful process. I mean it's a good stress, right? Because you're going to get your college paid for, and you get to go continue your softball career and play at a very, very high level. But that whole recruiting process, I mean, you've been a star for a long time. I mean, this is probably dragged on for years, right, for you?
Yeah.
So now that it's done and you've got one more year at Beaumont High School, what are your goals this upcoming spring? I mean, you guys are always one of the top teams in Division I. At least last year you guys were. I mean, CBL championship, D1 title contender in the CIF Southern Section playoffs. Like, what are your goals for this upcoming year?
I think my goal for this year is to get CBL champs again for the 4th time since I've been here. But I also want to I want our team to go further in playoffs, because I think 2 of my 3 years so far we've lost first round. So I want us to go farther than first round, because I know we can, but it's just the execution part. But I also want to get All-State again, which would be really nice.
And being a senior, Cam, are you just trying to maybe enjoy the journey a little bit more? Do you think oh my gosh, I can't believe this is it? I'm already a senior. How did this happen?
I would say I'm trying to enjoy it, but I'm also trying to leave my mark my senior year and make sure I go out with a bang. So I kind of I think I'm more hungry to win than I was before, because it's my last year. I have to go out good.
So, I mean, obviously you're already a dominating pitcher, but where are some areas you feel you could still be better?
I'd say maybe just my composure on the mound. When it comes to umpires, sometimes if they call a ball that I know is a ball, or if they call a ball that I know is a strike, I'll get frustrated. So if I just calm that down a little bit, I think I'll be okay.
I don't think you're the only pitcher that feels that way once they step into the circle.
Yeah.
That umpire, that home plate umpire is against me this whole game. So
yeah.
Well, Cam, congratulations to you and your family. It's a very big deal, and the Texas Longhorns. Wow, that's a big time program. I know the Inland Empire is well known for producing great softball players, and obviously you're the next in line. So congratulations to you, your family, and the Beaumont softball program. It's a very big deal. So congrats. And I know there's a lot of IE fans proud of you.
Thank you.
All right, that's Cam Salmon from Beaumont High School signing with the University of Texas Longhorns, joining us here on the Inland Sports Show.
Inland Sports.
All right, congrats to Cam and her family. A very big deal, and how special to side with Texas. All right. Right back to high school football. It's almost time to hear from Coach Tuohy. I promise all you guys in the live chat. But first, we want to take a look at the Ken Sporting Goods must-see game. It was not a difficult decision this week. Let's take a look. Centennial taking on St. John Bosco in the Division I semifinals. It'll be Centennial on the road at Bosco in this one. The Braves have won the last 3 consecutive games against Centennial. In fact, the Huskies, the last time they beat St. John Bosco was 2015, the Pac-5 championship game from Angels Stadium. Centennial winning the title in that one to go on to the state finals against De La Salle. So we'll see if Centennial can snap that 3-game skid against the Braves. Not saying the Braves are ripe for the picking, but I feel Centennial's got a real shot against St. John Bosco. It's going to be a lot of fun. That's our Ken Sporting Goods must-see game coming up this week, the D1 semifinals. Of course, on the other side of the bracket in Division I, you've got Mater Dei and Sierra Canyon. All right, let's take a look at all of the semifinal games in the Inland Sports Show coverage area. I think we've got 13 games, man. It's been a great year for local football in our area. Division II, Murrieta Valley's at home against Mission Viejo. D5, Orange Vista with a home game against Western from Anaheim. Murrieta Mesa, home for Miracosta. We talked about that with Coach McBride earlier in the show. King will play on the road at El Dorado. You'll notice the Big West Conference has 4 teams in the semifinals: Centennial, Murrieta Valley, Murrieta Mesa, and King. So great year for the Big West teams. Jurupa Hills at home against St. Pius, St. Matthias, Division 8. You heard from Coach Marinez. Vista del Lago at home for Rio Hondo Prep. The Ravens consistently good. They're in Division 9. Kaiser at home against Santa Monica. So we have a potential for a Kaiser versus Vista del Lago championship game if they both win in advance. Hemet on the road at Torrance in D10. Ramona on the road at Quartz Hill in 11. Poly at home against Westminster. So Poly against Ramona in the championship game in Division 11 could still happen. Massive game on the horizon for the city of Riverside. We got San Bernardino against Walnut. I'm going to go back to that in just a second. In Santa Clara at California School for the Deaf in 8-man Division 2. Now it says, as I circle back to Division 13 for San Bernardino, it says San Bernardino's the home team against Walnut, and it was supposed to be, but so according to San Bernardino High School, their head coach Sean Collins and their athletic director Patrick Mills, there was a problem with one of the footballs they used in the opening round against Bloomington. So instead of having a home game in the semifinals, the CIF said it was a ball violation, and they took the home game away from San Bernardino and they gave it to Walnut. And to make matters worse, San Bernardino is still considered the home team in this semifinal game. So when you determine who's going to host the Division 13 championship, they'll look back at the semifinals and say, okay, San Bernardino was the home team, even though they're playing on the road at Walnut. So we'll see if the Cardinals can continue to be road warriors. They won on the road in the first round. They won on the road in the quarterfinals, and they're going back out on the road again in the semis. Best of luck to Coach Collins and the Cardinals. All right, we looked at Division 9, really hoping for a Vista del Lago versus Kaiser championship game. But first things first, win in the semis and move on. Vista del Lago will be at home coming up in the semis in Division 9. When you look at the last 3, 4, 5 years, VDL consistently is making deep CIF runs. Here's Ravens head coach Mike Tuohy talking about their big win in the quarterfinals, and now moving on to the semis to host Rio Hondo Prep.
Sports. That's a really good football team. They were a nightmare to prepare for on defense, but we did a hell of a job slowing them down.
So
second half we went. Sorry about this. Second half we went, a little bit more cover 2 versus cover 3, and gave them a little bit more trouble when they were trying to find the over route in the seams. Yeah, just the culture and the kids really buying in and understanding, hey, when we get in, we want to handle business and make sure we, keep going as far as we can in these playoffs. I know we've hit roadblocks the last few years, but we believe we're ready to get over it this year. Yeah, when we lost to Poly at the end of the year, that they're becoming a really good football team. So I think a lot of people were sleeping on them, and we didn't overlook them. They were a good football team, and we didn't play as well as we should have that night. But yeah, we're feeling good right now. Defense is really stepping up. We've held our last 2 opponents to 7 points in the playoffs, and offense is handling their business. Like the end of the game, the last drive was a 5-minute drive to ice it, so couldn't be prouder of those guys too. Sports.
All right, that was Vista del Lago head coach Mike Tuohy. The Ravens going into the semifinals. I'm looking at the championship coin flips. So let's see. Vista del Lago is going to be on the road, it looks like, in the finals no matter what. So either at Santa Monica or at Kaiser if they advance. And again, being an Inland Empire football fan, would love to see Kaiser and Vista del Lago in the D9 finals. All right, before we wrap up this segment, let's take a look at our final Boost Top 25 poll of the season because, again, we don't have all the teams still playing, so this will be our final Top 25 of the year, and it's going to look like this. Centennial, number 1 all season long. In fact, they've been number 1 probably for the last 10, 15 years. Murrieta Valley 2, Citrus Valley 3. A lot of these teams on the list no longer playing right now. The biggest mover up is probably Orange Vista, going up to number 6. Beaumont really turned some heads. They're going to finish in at number 8. Rancho Verde climbing to number 12. That was also a pleasant surprise for the Mustangs. We knew they were going to be good, but they were really good this year under head coach Eric Zomal. Eisenhower, of course, your champion in the Sunkist League. They finish in at number 14. And then as you go down the list, for the first time this year, Hemet cracks the top 25. They had some significant victories at the end of the season as the Bulldogs climb in at number 25. So that's our final Boost Top 25 poll of the season. On social media right now, if you follow Inland Sports on Instagram or Twitter, it was kind of fun to do. We put our Boost Top 25 preseason poll and our Boost Top 25 coaches preseason poll right up against our final poll of the season. And guess what? We were pretty close. They are who we thought they were. There was a couple teams that surprised us, but it was kind of fun to compare where we thought they were going to end up and where they ended up at the end of the year, at least going into the semifinals now. All right, we're going to take one more quick commercial break. When we come back, Riverside Poly head football coach Jarron Gilbert will join us live on the Inland Sports Show.
Here's a message for all you female athletes. Did you know that participating in strength training has positive effects on your mental health? It can reduce stress, improve self-esteem, and, no pun intended, boost your self-confidence. It also provides a sense of empowerment and control of your body and abilities. No matter what type of athlete you are, the benefits of strength training go far beyond sports, as it can mentally and physically change your life. To learn more about the benefits of strength training for your well-being, check out any of our blogs at www.boosttrainingsystems.com. Your boy, Boostman.
Sports Show is proud to partner with Dr. Marcus Paulson and Paulson Orthodontics in Redlands. Dr. Paulson and his team work with children, teens, and adults using orthodontic products like traditional braces and Invisalign to make a difference in the appearance, comfort, and function of each patient's teeth. Paulson Orthodontics welcomes new patients, so schedule a visit today. Paulson Orthodontics. We make braces fun. Quarterback C.J. Stroud of the Houston Texans, the pride of Rancho Cucamonga, beating old Joe Burrow and the Bengals head-to-head 30-27, and he led them on a game-winning drive to set up the game-winning field goal as time expired. Patrick, there's talk that he's going to be the Rookie of the Year. There's now talk he might be the NFL MVP. C.J. Stroud of the Kook, man, doing it. All right, we got to talk some college football. Another one of our local guys, Patrick, man. This guy is probably the favorite now, the front runner to win the Heisman Trophy. It is quarterback Jaden Daniels of the LSU Tigers, the pride of Cajon High School. Had the game of his life against the Florida Gators. 372 passing yards and 3 touchdowns. 234 rushing yards and 2 more touchdowns in a blowout win. Patrick, he might be your Heisman winner from the Dino.
Boy, can you believe it? Talk about a signature win. My goodness, he went bananas with his legs. But like you said, he wrecked shop at Cajon.
Inland Sports.
And we are back here live on the Inland Sports Show. We appreciate you tuning in. Big semifinal week here in the Inland Sports Show coverage area. We got a bunch of local teams. We just ran down all those semifinals involving our local teams. I think there's 13 different games. One of them in Division 11, the Riverside Poly Bears. They are marching on to the semifinals, trying to punch their ticket to the finals if they can get past Westminster this week. Join us live on the show, the head coach of the Bears, Jarron Gilbert. Coach, wow, what a year for Riverside Poly. I mean, I remember back in, what was it, 2014 or 2015 when the Bears played Redlands East Valley Rev in the finals. I mean, it's been a while since the Bears have been this deep into the playoffs. I mean, what do you credit to really the success of the back half of the regular season?
The success of the back half came from the lessons in the front half. Really, I mean, we had so many close-fought battles throughout the year. We started off with a few games that came down to just one play at the end of the day. A lot of one-score games, and the record wasn't reflective of who we were as a team. And throughout the season, there was a point where I think the kids just had enough and decided, we're going to do things right. And the little things started clicking. And, everybody's been pulling their weight. I mean, the coaching staff has been great. I have an amazing staff. The kids have been playing amazing, and we've been talking about just how much they've matured and developed from beginning to the end of the season, where we're at right now. And I mean, not the end because we're looking to move forward, but just the maturation of this team and the timing, how we're clicking right now has been amazing. It's been amazing to be a part of.
You know, Coach, earlier on in the program, we had Mike Tuohy from Vista del Lago, and he mentioned, man, that Riverside Poly team was tough. And when you guys beat them in the regular season, at least for me, and I think a lot of other people, we kind of were like, okay, hold on. Here come the Bears. The Bears are legit because, Vista del Lago's been one of the better teams in our area. Was there a moment, was there a game when you felt like, man, it's finally clicking. These guys are getting it. We're going to have some success here. If we can just get to the playoffs, we might make a run. Was there a moment for you like that?
Yeah, well, we've known what we had, and one thing, we have a great running back who makes us all look good as coaches. He's breaking tackles left and right, Jarron Thomas. But we've known what we've had in these kids, and it was a point we're playing Rancho Christian, and we had a tough victory playing them, and we battled through some adversity. And before, when adversity hit us, we ended up on the bottom side of those things. And I think getting through that adversity and coming and staying locked in, staying engaged, and believing all the way through set the tone for us moving forward. And once we got into the Vista game, it was, win or go home. We had our backs against the wall, and they're a really good team. I mean, they're still in the hunt as well. And our guys rose to the occasion in that moment, and really wanted it. And it's been great to see out of those kids.
Coach, let's go back just for a moment to the quarterfinals, beating Patriot 24-21. Patriot was tough. I mean, you look at the River Valley League, and they had some quality wins, and they played Norte Vista tough all the way down to the end. I think it was a 4-point loss for the Warriors there. 24-21 was the final in that game. What was it about you guys, especially in the second half, to hold them off and get that win to punch your ticket to the semifinals?
Well, the best defense is not letting the other team's offense on the field. So we had a long, sustained drive in the third. That really kept the points down for us, and we got some big stops out of our guys later in the game that gave us a chance at the end there. And we knew what we were going into against that team. They have incredible backfield between the quarterback and the running back, running the ball and the way it influences their passing game with the play action and the stress it put on our safeties. Coach Fowler over there does an amazing job with that program. And we were able to fend them off and regain a lead and hold it down to the end, really on the back of the running game and taking care of critical situations in that game.
Coach, you mentioned the running game. You already mentioned Jarron Thomas a little bit earlier in this interview, but What's it like? Does it make your job a lot easier as the head coach when you know you have a running back that you can lean on? Like you said, time-consuming drives, you can just hand the ball off to him, and you know he's going to not only take care of it, but move you guys down the field. He's one of the best backs in the area.
Yeah, he's just a tough kid who embraces the physicality, and his impact doesn't necessarily show up in the stat book as much as it does on the field. And even though he's putting up great numbers, the pressure, the pounding he gives to opposing defenses, linebackers, and safeties that have to come up and hit him time after time, it just gives us adds a great dynamic to our offense, and it opens up our receivers, and they've been able to make plays in big situations. DeMaje Allen, guys like that have been great when their numbers been called on. So he's been great for our offense and our coaching staff, Coach Ted Telemack, Alvin Berkeley. The offensive guys, they're clicking right now, and we've got a good thing going with everybody we have.
All right, Coach, finally, Westminster, your semifinal opponent, without giving away all your secrets, of course, but, what do you know about these guys, and how do you kind of see this matchup coming up on Friday night?
If I know anything, it's going to be a tough game, as pretty much all our games have been. They're in this spot for a reason. They've earned it, and they do a lot of good things on offense and defense. They're a good balanced team in the running pass game, and we're looking forward to a great matchup. Our kids are ready. They've been focused all week, and it's going to be a good battle.
Sometimes it's dangerous to play that common opponent game, especially if that common opponent was very early on in the season. But yeah. I saw that Esperanza beat Westminster 27-14, but you guys beat Esperanza in the playoffs. So, again, that's kind of dangerous when you play that common opponent game. But I'm just saying, if you're looking for a common opponent between the Bears and Westminster there. Coach, listen, thank you so much for the time. Best of luck going into the semifinals. It's awesome to see Riverside Poly this deep in the playoffs, and hopefully you guys can take that next step and get to that championship game in Division 11.
All right. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me on the show.
Yes, sir. That is Jarron Gilbert, the head coach of the Riverside Poly Bears here on the Inland Sports Show. And, Coach, you can log off Zoom. Unless you want to watch the rest of the show, you're welcome to as we wrap things up here at Teen Vision TV 16. A big thanks to Coach Gilbert, Coach Tuohy from Vista del Lago, Coach Citos Marinez from Jurupa Hills, and all the way back at the beginning, Oscar McBride from Murrieta Mesa and Cambria Salmon, Beaumont High School softball pitcher. It's been a long show. In fact, we went way over, but I told you it was going to be real juicy tonight as we preview the semifinal round of the CIF Southern Section football playoffs for our local teams here in the Inland Sports Show coverage area. The biggest shout out of all goes to Johnny Nunez, our director behind the scenes here at Teen Vision TV 16. My name is Pep Fernandez. God bless you guys. Stay safe out there, and best of luck to all of our local teams in the semifinals this week. We'll see you next week on your favorite show, the Inland Sports Show.